Welcome to the latest episode of Ambassadors, our show that takes you behind the scenes of the Between Two Beers podcast. How are we doing today, Shay?
I'm fine. Can we start on... Can I just derail what we're going to talk about? Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
It's my truth?
Yeah.
I think you should wear less hats.
Okay.
It's dark. It covers your eyes.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
if you're going to wear a hat, why don't you wear a different hat?
Do you hate this hat?
Maybe it's that specific hat. But
This is a Between Two Beers hat.
I know, the merch-wise.
Can I tell you... Can I be totally honest with you about why I'm wearing hats?
Yeah.
Because I hate the way my thinning hairline looks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just me. And
I know. I mean, I know why you wear a hat. I don't think it's a secret to anybody.
Yeah, but sometimes I forget about what... you've got this sort of like an image in your head of what you think you look like. And then you sort of catch it like... There's a lot of me on screens that get reflected back at me in clips that I'm not aware of are coming out. And when I'm not wearing a hat, I'm like, oh, jeez. That's tough. And then when I wear a hat, I'm like, oh.
So you're a hat guy.
Well,
if you're going to be a hat guy, then can I make a request that you wear a different? You actively try and wear a different hat every time.
This is a different hat. I haven't worn this hat in months. But can I say something else about hats?
Yeah, please.
Sorry,
I mean, we know we've got a whole thing we want to talk about.
I pick and choose which guests I'll wear hats from based on what I think the right vibe is.
So start that again?
Yeah. So, like a radio personality or broadcast, I'll wear a hat.
Yeah.
But if we've got like a CEO in, like someone who's very important, I think it'd be disrespectful to wear a cap in that interview.
That's good. I like the thought process that goes behind it. Do you feel the same way about shorts versus pants?
No, because no one's seeing that. That's under the table. I think, and as a podcaster, you're allowed to wear what you want, but it's the image that's been portrayed, and that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking.
No, that's good. This is actually a nice seg, unplanned seg, because I did introduce a segment a few months back called Seamus Gifts. What did I call it? I don't know what I call it.
Excited.
Seamus Gifts Steve.
Yeah.
And I gave you some aids for the bedroom on a courtesy of Girls Get Off.
Yeah.
And a Basketball New Zealand singlet, which I hope you wear this weekend at the game that's in Hamilton, Tall Blacks versus Boomers.
Yeah. Need to shave the back. But
and Tall Ferns versus Opals. But I've got another one for you.
Oh, wow.
Fashion themed.
Yeah, is it a hat?
It's not a hat. But it's from my friends at Allbirds. Yeah. So, there you go.
What is it?
It's a fucking car. What do you think it is?
Oh, nice. Nice, man.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't thank me. Thank Allbirds.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's a nice thing. It's a really nice thing.
You're welcome.
Are these the same shoes you were wearing last night?
No, they're not the same shoes that I was wearing. And we got caught this week in the same outfit. And if I speak my truth, I very deliberately requested a very different pair to the shoes that I wear because I think we're getting too close in style.
Yeah, we arrived it was a bit of a chill in Hamilton. And we both wore jackets for the first time in about 6 months.
Can I ask
the
something?
Same brown jacket with the same black shirt on.
I mean, there's limited options for men, I think, at the best of times, because I'm not really fashion. I'm quite narrow in my what I think is good. I had a different outfit on before I left the house, and I actively changed it into the black shirt, brown jacket combination. Yeah. I gather from my sources inside the Holloway house that you actively changed as well.
I just put a jacket. I was just wearing what I was going to wear and then put a jacket on.
Oh, okay. It was explained to me differently by Bonnie.
And I've only got like 2 jackets, so
then she was
50 chance.
I'm thinking I might just text Doc Brown on the mornings and ask what Shay's wearing, and then...
But I was like, it's just me and you in the office by ourselves. Like nobody else has seen it until we took the silly little photo and put it on social media.
Yeah.
No one was to know.
Like you have this perception of what you look... I also have a perception of like, he stole my look.
Yeah.
And I've got quite a trademark look.
Yeah.
I've also got really bad beard rough, which I... Anyway, I've completely derailed the start.
That's
Sorry,
all right. We are going to talk about what happened last night.
Oh, I thought we agreed we weren't going to talk about what happened last night.
So last night we did a live podcast at the Ice House. It's part of their Ignite 25 conference, which will have happened by the time this goes out. But on the Monday night was an alumni event. So people that had been on the OMP course or other Ice House.
Owner-manager program. You got to spell it out first and then shorten it down.
Yeah. And we did a live live so there's 150 people in the room. We did a bit of a talk about the Between Two Beers story, and then did a live podcast with David Downs, the the chairman of the Ice House, and I thought it went really well.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the 10-minute 5.5-year summary of Between Two Beers was quite good too, which we did to begin with. Like, I felt quite relaxed in that. I thought I'd be a bit more nervous, but we were sort of just riffing. It was good.
Yeah, it's an interesting space, that live podcast, and I sort of talked to you beforehand saying I think this could be sort of a prototype, if it goes well, to doing more of them, because you're essentially killing two birds with one stone. Like, you're entertaining an audience, and they're there for the night, but we're also recording a podcast which we can release, on the Between Two Beers channel, and there's we videoed the whole thing. The interesting difference is when we're recording in studio, you're not aware of an outside party being involved, but when we're recording in person live, like, I felt like we were really dialed in with David Downs, but at the same time, part of me is like, shit, are they entertained? Like, are we entertaining them?
Yeah, it wasn't. How many times did you glance out to the audience and kind of try and get a gauge on what they were thinking based on facial expression?
A little bit, not that. Like, I was pretty much dialed it. Like, I was kind of tilted and looking at him the whole time.
Yeah.
And on occasion, like when there'd be a laugh or something, I'd like look around and like see if everyone was still paying attention.
Yeah, that was definitely something. I mean, as is my way in podcasts, I often look for an opportunity for a little gag if we're like free flowing in conversation. And there was a couple that I dropped in there that. A couple got laughs from the live audience, and I was like, cool, I've got this. And there was a couple other ones which got nothing, and I thought, in my mind, wow, that was really funny, but like nobody laughed at it. So it was a very different experience. He's a super accomplished guy, by the way, David Downs. I did not know much about him until we started the research.
Yeah, so we're going to release it probably in 3 or 4 weeks on our main channel. So he's the Ice House chair. He's the CEO of New Zealand Story. He's the chair of Wells Network. He's done a million different things on advisory boards. He was the founder of the Classic, the comedy club. So he's worn so many hats. But there's an incredibly gripping part of his story that he had a terminal cancer diagnosis. He was given a 5% chance of surviving more than a year, and sort of faced his mortality. And when we moved into that part of the story, like, you could hear a pin drop. Yeah. And like, we held them, right? It was like 30 minutes of like, he's such a good storyteller, and he got into his feelings, and it was like, you can sense that when it's absolutely silent.
Yeah, that was a pretty surreal feeling of, it was literally on sort of tenterhooks, and people were literally hanging off his every word, and he got quite emotional in one of those parts. And speaking to his wife Catherine afterwards, she sort of said, man, you guys really got below the surface, and I've not seen, and she's I think seen him speak over 200 times. She's like, I've not seen him speak about some of those things before, which was amazing.
Yeah, incredibly accomplished speaker, and he's done TED Talks on it and the works, but it was kind of like digged it, One thing I'm finding with the sort of the art of the interview, like, you ask someone a question and they give you kind of like a surface level answer, and then if you say, nah, give us some more, and then they'll go a bit deeper, and then it's like that third question, and they're like, okay, all right, they either meet you or they kind of like shift away from it, and then he's like, okay, these guys are here for the detail, fuck it, there's a live audience, that's all right, like, I'm going there.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've experienced that emotional live side of someone really getting in their feelings in front of a live audience.
Yeah, I must admit, it took me aback a little bit as well when he started to choke up and realize that he was, just reacting in real time, and it was like, the break the fourth wall is kind of what I called it, and he was right there with us. It was awesome, actually, when I kind of reflect on it. It was wicked night.
So they've got this Ignite 25 conference on the Tuesday. We did on the Monday, and we're talking to him before. I was like, "What's your day look like tomorrow?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm emceeing the whole thing," and there's like 10 speakers or something. It's full day. I was like, "Oh, is that just kind of like introing, the guests to come up?" He's like, "No, I'm doing like Q&A, like I'm interviewing like 5 of them, and it's like Sir John Key and Sir Wayne Smith and Chelsea, like it's an insane lineup, and he's emceeing the whole day. He's got a full-time job. He's on all these boards. He did the thing with us last night. I was like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, he gave some pretty good, in conversation, some pretty good productivity hacks as well on how he kind of deals with things. But like the sleep chat, I found really interesting. It's a great episode when it comes out. You guys are really going to enjoy it. But it was awesome, and looking forward to going to the conference today as well, and being around that group, because there was a lot of love for the Accidental Business Owner series in that room last night.
Yeah, one of the coolest parts of the night is, and you always do this at the start, you're like, oh, how many Between Two Beers listeners are out there? And there's like 150 in the room, and I reckon like 90%.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands
up.
A lot of hands.
Like, fuck, that's
There's
so
a few
cool.
ambassadors in the room too.
Yeah, ambassadors, and yeah, the ABO stuff. I mean, that's that business-minded audience, and they, so much love for the willingness to share our journey. And I fucking hate saying journey. Yeah, I've let myself. We were doing so good.
I know. Yeah. It's okay. We've got to think of another word. Quest.
But it does sort of fill the cup, because we talk about this on an upcoming episode of ABO about how daunting it is putting, especially those 1v1s out there, and how unless you get the feedback from people saying they're getting something from it, you're like, well, why am I doing this? And so I think, to say that in the shadow, like we had some pretty intense ABO recordings which we haven't released yet, and you were
I just recoiled. I recoiled physically then thinking about it, because my one last week with Di, which is yet to come out, was intense. It set me into a loop, like a real reflection loop. You'll feel it when you watch it. And Di and I spoke about it afterwards, because I mean, I don't know, from your perspective, we finished and she left the room. I think she went to speak to you, and then I was left in the room just with our videographer Sam, and he just very gently and very calmly said, "Are you okay?" Because it was pretty intense. And I left and had a little walk around the block and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious, what was your reaction to kind of the aftermath of that chat?
Yeah, so to back up a little bit, we had this full advisory day with Maddie and Di on the Wednesday, and it was awesome. It was like 9 to 5. It was intense. We sort of pulled apart the business and put it back together again, and acknowledged roles and responsibilities and who's doing what and who's not. And the day after, we recorded 3 ABOs. So the first one was a group one, and we were kind of talking about what had happened the day before. And the second one was a 1v1. So that was Seamus and Di, and we're in this office space in Hamilton, and I've sort of just gone into the next room, and I'm doing some work on the computer, and they're in there. And I'm not listening in. I can sort of hear murmurs, but I can also pick up on the tone of like when things go unusually quiet, and then it kind of stopped and everyone got up and walked in different directions. And I was like, you guys all good?
Yeah.
And then you've sort of walked out, and then I've had a chat with Di, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming. Good though. Sounds like good content.
Yeah, and then we had to record like quite a light fun bag questions from the audience afterwards. And I'll be interested to see how that comes out, because I was in a spin. But then sometimes the stars align or whatever. But the last part of that was you reading some feedback from an ABO listener, which was probably in that moment, unknowing to you, exactly what I needed to hear to kind of reassure me. But then, I left for the rest of the day, I think, and like Di and I spoke on her drive up to Auckland, and I won't say we made amends, but we definitely reflected on that and thought we probably need to put a little bit more context around it. So that'll be something that we kind of talk about and kick around to maybe do some reacts and reflections on it.
Yeah, the gist of it is she called you on your shit.
Yeah, I mean, she called me on some shit, some pretty, very direct feedback.
Yeah.
Like very direct feedback, but also... Yeah, I don't know how some of your one-on-ones have been with some of the very direct feedback, but it like I paused afterwards and was like, okay, I need to really think about this, and I I think I cooked for about 3 hours that night. I was just, Doc was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I popped the earbuds in, and I was
staring off into the
just cutting onions for 4 hours to mask the tears. but afterwards, the next day and stuff, and over the weekend it was good. It came out good on the other side. But yeah, she's going to be an interesting listen. Look out for that one. Actually, the other thing about it is, like straight after the afternoon, I told you how rattled I was walking back to the office, and it had been raining in Hamilton, and I physically slipped and took a tumble in the car park. I thought I'd kind of caught myself quite well, and I did that thing, when you fall down, the first thing you do is you look around and go, shit, who saw that? And at the hairdressers on the left, there was like a girl poked her head out and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." I had a coffee cup in my hand and I didn't smash it, thankfully. And then I was like, "Oh, I better report that." So I rang Ali and was like, "Hey, near miss." And then
big man went down.
I did go. And then as I put the phone down, there was a message popped up, and it was a friend of mine that I don't see her all that often. She was like, "You recovered from that really well." And I was like, "Oh." My pride is pretty dented. And she was like, "I just happened to look out the Reggie's window at just the right time." She goes, "I thought you'd snapped your knee." Because I'd gone down pretty hard, but I guess I'm still quite agile. The old goalkeeper reflexes.
We're investigating getting the security camera footage.
Yeah, that would maybe add that on the end of the AVO as well after that reflection, the reaction part.
It was funny that afternoon because you were obviously rattled, and I feel like sometimes you overcompensate and go the other way. You're like, "Oh, I'm bubbly and I'm all good," and you just had this fall and your head was all over the place.
I went and got a haircut with Murray. I just did all these self-care things to look after myself, but hey, we're at the other side, we're all good. I'm going to change tack slightly, because I did enjoy Saturday afternoon down at Gower Park watching Mighty Melville play. They came away with a win, which was good. I've got to remind me to come back to that Melville situation, but a topic of conversation that popped up on the sideline, which I was very interested to learn about, which is very rare for me to not know something about what's going on in your life. But appears there's an addition to the Holloway household.
Yeah, there is.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Number 5.
Number 5, we've got a kitten. The proud new dad of a kitten.
Can I ask a few?
Yeah, please.
Can I pepper a few questions in here? Yeah. Have you ever owned a pet before? So there was
we have. We had a cat. Me and Bon had a cat called Wendy.
Oh yeah, I remember
Male
Wendy.
cat Wendy.
Yeah,
up in Auckland.
Sorry,
which was someone
about
else's cat that kept coming to our house, and we kind of took.
But growing up, you never.
No pets.
There was no family pet.
No pets in the Holloway house.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There's been no warmth towards pets because they haven't been a part of my life.
Yeah.
The only experience I had with pets growing up was the neighbours' cats at Thames Street sort of coming over into our property, and my dad hating them. Get out of here, cats.
That's where you picked it up from.
Get out of here. You're throwing mandarins at them. And
learnt behaviours.
Yeah.
Was there... so many questions. Can you give me a snapshot? Like, how did this even eventuate? Because, again, it's not my place to say, but from the outside looking in, there's a lot going on in the Holloway house, and I feel like the addition of a cat is...
Yeah, good questions. I don't know how these things sort of bubble to the surface, but we're at that point where, every 2 years we normally just have another kid.
Yeah.
And we're not and we're at that time. And I joked to Bon, I was like, "You're in your pets and Pilates era." And she and the kids have been scheming that what we need is a kitten.
Wow.
And
it's all gone on behind your back.
Yeah, well, it feels like it a little bit. And then it was very much a 5v1 situation. It's like, well, me and the kids want a kitten. I was like, I'm not going to stand in the way.
Mm-hmm. You just rolled over on it.
Well, I was like...
Sounds like you just rolled over on it.
So I was like, all right, well, I think the kids need to prove that they're responsible enough to handle a kitten. So I came up, I was like, if for 5 nights in a row at bedtime, I can say, right, kids, get into your pajamas and brush your teeth without fight back or without any attitude or without grizzles. I was like, do it 5 nights in a row, you prove to me you're responsible enough for a kitten. And so they did it 2 nights in a row, and then the wheels fell off.
Oh, nice.
And I came home one night from work, and the kids was like, "Yeah, Mum's cancelled the cat, said we're not up to it." I was like, "Oh, brilliant. Okay, Great.
Nice.
Yeah. And then a few days later, apparently we're back. And she's like, hey, me and the kids are going to go look at some kittens at fucking PetSmart or something. I'm like, what? What about the challenge, the responsibility thing? He's like, oh, yeah. Should we do that again? I was like, yeah. They need to prove it. We can't let them get away with it. So we went back to the start, and it was they didn't really.
Sounds like the wheels were already in motion.
Yeah, they really were, and they there was complaints every night, and there was fight back. But I could see the tide was against me, and so yeah, we got a cat. Don't ask me any questions about what type. It's a white kitten.
Does it have a name?
Not yet. I like Gabby Cat is what I'm pushing. So I'm invested in the cat.
Gabby Cat.
The cat name.
Litter box, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's new. It's only been there 2 days, so we're still feeling each other out.
Do you know that I'm a real passionate cat guy?
Wow, you should come around.
I might come around more often now.
Okay.
I had 2 cats in my life. One was Kelsey, was the family cat, and there's a great backstory to this where she was just found by my niece wandering the streets and became our cat, like a beautiful adoption. Adoption situation, and then I inherited Kitty.
Yeah, can we make a little pact right now
that we never talk about cats ever again?
We've got it out. I don't think
I was just showing my softer side.
Yeah, okay.
For cats.
We'll get some cat updates.
We are going to show softer side a little bit later on. Can I just loop back to Melville real quick?
Yeah.
One of our social media reels from the last Ambassadors went quite hard, which was Gen Z don't get on the piss anymore.
Yeah, it did.
And we used Melville as an example.
Yeah.
Some shocking evidence came to light over the weekend of Melville on the piss.
Right.
Which I was very, very interested by. I did some further investigation. It turns out it was a planned on the piss night.
Oh, you were wondering if it was influenced by the viral video.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we need to show them that we can still
I wondered
do it.
whether Joel McMullen, the captain of Melville, sort of felt a bit under threat.
I felt a bit bad for Joel because that clip had over 500,000 views across social media, and we kind of like popped up a little photo of him. Here's Melville captain saying we don't get on the piss, and his teammates like, yes, we have, Joel.
Yeah,
you haven't.
A lot of people called him out. So he was front and centre at a photo of Melville on the piss, but it was a farewell for goal-scoring hero of the day, Thomas Cave, off to Sweden.
Nice.
I don't think he listens, so I don't know why I'm giving him a shout-out, but there we go.
Okay, so between 2 bets, we had 2 losers last week.
Staying on the football theme, because you went Arsenal... PSG, Arsenal full-time.
Sorry, between 2 bets brought to us by our
friends at the TAB.
Good friends and loyal sponsors of the TAB.
That's right.
I lost Arsenal.
Yeah.
Half-time, full-time double is a silly bet. Don't ever do a half-time, full-time double. What's my bet this week?
What are you doing this week?
Half-time, full-time double.
Yeah.
Chiefs versus Crusaders, $2.87. Half-time, I feel like they're going to be up at half-time and they're going to be up at full-time.
My bet came in. Warriors win Adam Pompey to score a try.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit of a Hail Mary bet, but it came through. Yeah. I was happy with that. I'm going to I've got sucked into European football like you did. I've gone the 2 English clubs to win their Europa League semi-final second legs. Man United and Tottenham to win, to set up a final that nobody cares about.
Yeah. Don't do multis, don't do half-time, full-time doubles, and we're falling into the trap.
Yeah, sucked right in.
Yeah.
But R18, bet responsibly, whatever you choose to do. I think those 2 will come in.
Yeah. Right, time to turn to the fun bag. Couple of questions. First one is, what does it mean to be a Kiwi man in 2025? That's from Greg.
Foreign.
So
not using his second name.
So we've done some research on this. Studies indicate the traditional...
We've done some research? Have you found this research?
Yeah, I found some.
Okay.
It's doing research. Studies indicate that the traditional ideals of masculinity are being challenged and redefined. So my question is, what does masculinity mean to the modern New Zealand man?
Well, when I think of growing up, masculinity was kind of your Colin Meads, your Pine Tree Meads, your Ed Hillarys.
Yeah, Fitzy.
Fitzy was a captain in New Zealand. He was definitely
so just rugby players. So just rugby
Seems
players.
Like that, yeah. I mean, Sir Peter Blake, I think, was in there.
Yeah. So men who have achieved
done something amazing,
physical feats.
Yeah. I think that was masculinity. That was probably my reflection on there.
And piss, like I think of old school masculinity as like piss drinkers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Tough. You know?
Yeah. Handle your piss. He can handle his piss. He's a good guy. He can handle his piss. Yeah.
Could handle themselves, like could handle themselves in a fight.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I could handle my piss. I couldn't handle myself in a fight.
Oh, and you weren't masculine by any stretch.
Yeah, I guess not. I think now it's very, very different. Maybe as we've got older.
I think it has changed, and I was sort of been thinking about this. I feel like maybe your Mark Ellis types bridged the gaps a little bit for us, for men of a certain age, men of 40.
Yeah.
He had that. He had the physical feats, and he was strong and tough, but he also had a bit of a softer, more thoughtful side.
Yeah, and that larrikin nature, I think, don't take yourself too seriously, was kind of you can laugh at yourself. That was a masculine, was that a masculine trait?
Yeah.
Or was it a cultural trait?
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah.
But I think it's drifted further, and I mean, based on the male guests we've had, we've had a pretty good cross-section of successful and popular people. Like, I think it has considerably changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah, well, who have you vibed with masculine-wise that you might role model your behaviour on?
So we've challenged ourselves to come up with 3 Kiwi men who we think represent the best of masculinity.
Okay.
All right. You go one for one?
Sure, we do this. People have a list as well.
So my first one is Jay Reeve.
Is it restricted to people? Well, it's obviously not restricted to people we've had on the podcast if that's your first one.
No, it's not. Anyway. Okay. So my first one is Jay Reeve.
Okay, I went with just people we've had on the podcast, but that's fine. We'll just keep going.
He's a broadcaster on The Rock. He's a good-looking dude. He takes care of himself. Mm-hmm. He's got this sort of the motorbike thing going on. But I think what put him into my head is the openness he talks about stuff, sexuality. Mm-hmm. The Morgan Penn episode where he's so fucking open about what's going on in his bedroom. And the ability to cheerlead all of his friends. On his socials, he's always sort of cheerleading people that are up to good causes. And I just feel like he's got the exterior of quite a sort of a blokey man, but he's got the softer side as well. Jay Reeve.
Yeah, I think I didn't hide my man crush for Jay Reeve in our episode with Anna Reeve very well, so I think that plays. First name I had on there was Matt Heath.
Yeah.
Renaissance man.
Yeah.
I think about that Mark Ellis, like Matthew Ridge kind of larrikin, which was my first contact with Matt Heath when he was doing the Back of the Y Masterpiece television and that sort of stuff. And then like his arc and reinvention, amazing larrikin with the ACC and like really witty commentary, but at the same time very thoughtful. His writing is excellent. And then his book, which came out recently as well, Lessons on Life, Reflections on Things That Have Happened. Yeah, I think that's a really good representation of modern Kiwi masculinity now.
Yeah, I think that thoughtfulness piece is kind of a common theme. So the second one I've got is Jamie Pinnell, former guest, SAS soldier. He won the New Zealand Gallantry Star. He's obviously, like an SAS soldier, is obviously traditional masculine. But I think it's more how he has reflected on his reintegration into society and looking at relationships and talking about the struggle and sort of really like doing the work is the part of me that puts him into this list. He's got a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Jamie Pinnell.
Yeah, that plays. Maybe a bit of recency bias and also specific to my situation, but Joe Damon for me.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Humour, not afraid to laugh at himself, but also very in tune with how he's feeling and not afraid to talk about how he's feeling and what he's reflecting on, and also doesn't really care too much about what exterior people say. This is what I think, this is what I'm about, and this is what I'm going to say. Like that conviction of character.
He doesn't give a shit, eh?
Yeah, doesn't care.
And he's got that blokey exterior. Like he looks like a bloke, and then it's incredibly eloquent, thoughtful prose.
Can I double down?
Yeah, go on.
Owen Gutenberg was another one, and
that's a good one.
I do say, like, I have solely gone on our podcast, but for me that one was, I had a perception from his time as a professional athlete with the Warriors of that, and he spoke about it, playing through pain, carrying like on under duress, but also again in later life, some of his reflections on being a father, on family that came out in that episode, I thought were really I had a very, very different perception of him afterwards, and a lot of what he said really stuck with me too around implementing into my own life. So I've got those three.
He's a tough bastard too.
Yeah, he is a tough bastard.
He's a tough bastard.
Yeah. But also like a really strong long-term relationship too. Like his marriage seems, again, to be really a foundational piece of who he is as a person, and acknowledges that support that he gets as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. My last one is Gav Douglas.
One of the pounding fathers.
Yeah, just a friend, just one of my friends kept. I thought it would be funny just to cheerlead our mate Gav. This is his moment. He's an engineer. He's got 3 kids. He's got a beautiful body. He's got a beautiful family.
Yep.
He's a quiet guy. He uplifts his community. He's down at Melville on the working bee. He helps out any chance he can get. He's
coaching the Waikato Diocesan first division now as well.
It's just a representation of a bloody good Kiwi bloke. Gav Douglas, you make my top 3. Can
I make an observation on Gav?
Yeah, go on.
I feel like he's changed a lot in the last few years as well.
Yeah, he has.
Like he's sharpened his tools and added more to the toolkit.
He's grown into a man.
Yeah. And he's got a beautiful beach house at Matarangi.
And a beautiful body.
Body.
It's about time Gav Douglas got his flowers. If you know Gav Douglas and you're listening to us, reach out to him.
He's made such an improvement from those little spaghetti arms that he used to have. And if we're I think you should get his legs out more, because they're his best feature.
We're going to get a topless pic of Gav to accompany this section.
I can't believe we had a serious thing. You've gone and dropped that. It's good.
Yeah.
Gav Douglas.
Did you have anyone else?
No.
Okay.
Those are all the men I know.
Cool. Next question is from Mike. Has TikTok cooked our attention spans?
I think TikTok's cooked our society. Full stop. Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, we do it as well. Like that short reel, like doom scroll through. Yeah, if something doesn't capture my attention in the first 5 seconds on TikTok, I'm gone.
You're out.
I'm out onto the next thing.
I think it definitely has cooked our attention spans. I think at the end of the day, when I've got some time and I'm like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? And it's like, should I pop a show on Netflix or should I scroll TikTok? TikTok wins every single time, because it's such a quicker dopamine hit, and it's 50 different things on it. Yeah, like you say, it's 2 seconds and you're on to the next one until you find something that really dials into what you want. And for me, that's sort of street fights and business advice, you know?
such that algorithm situation. I've been told off a few times now by Doc Brown for not listening. So I do think it's definitely having an effect on my attention span, like just modern. She'll tell, like, oh, how's your day? She'll tell me how her day is, and then like 5 minutes later I'll go, oh, what happened with that thing you were supposed to do today? She's like, I told you that.
Oh, yeah.
I told you that.
Yeah. Bon would have thoughts.
We got to keep those two apart, I think.
I think so.
I think so. We need to put some separation between the two.
Do you ever look at your, you can see like how much screen time?
No.
You get alerts about how much time you spend on your screen.
No, and so Doc's got some amazing discipline. She has this like 5 minute a day Instagram social media thing. It's like some limit you can put on your phone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an Apple thing. I don't know, because I don't run an Apple situation. Yeah. And she's really, really good with it. And I have to uninstall apps, as we discovered last time, to kind of just...
So she is only allowed on social media for 5 minutes a day?
Self-imposed, yeah. And she's also uninstalled the apps on her phone. So if she wants to have her 5 minute hit, like she has to log into the laptop and
that is strong.
Go onto Facebook. So we do this is real nerd areas, but we do the quiz every Tuesday, and they give you 3 clues on Facebook. So instead of getting them on her phone, she's now got to get the laptop out, load up the browser version of Facebook, and find it on a Tuesday.
How long has she been running this disciplined operation for?
I mean the 5 minute situation was in last year. You can extend it, like you can elect to bypass it if you needed a little extra.
That's one of the most impressive things I've heard, because a lot of people do a little detox. Oh, I'm off social media. Bon's the best of this. Deletes it all, and then it's back the next week. But if you're consistently maintaining a 5 minute window, well done. Good on you, Doc Brown.
Yeah. So maybe that's something I need to investigate more thoroughly. But it just sucks you in. I feel like I don't need it, but then also I'm like, oh, what's happening in America if I don't see it on TikTok?
Yeah, because you need to know what's happening in America.
Yeah, 'cause it definitely influences my day-to-day life.
Okay, last one is from Helen, and she says, "Is Auckland still the place to be?" Has Auckland ever been?
Is Helen in Auckland? I think she just needs to go out and have a look around and go, maybe it's not.
Yeah. Would you ever consider moving back to Auckland?
I've been caught out on this before. There is a 99% chance that I would never move back to Auckland.
Okay.
I cannot see a world in which I reside in Auckland.
Yeah.
Ever again.
I'm going to clip this bit out and play it for you in 5 years when the opportunity of a lifetime comes up in Auckland.
You didn't, nah. 99. I've given myself the 1% wiggle room.
Yeah.
What's your numbers? What would it take for you?
Would I move back to... Is there a scenario where I'd move back to Auckland? Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay. I don't know how to go with this. Say someone offers you a job and it's $10 million. You move back to Auckland, right? You've got to be based in Auckland. Yes. So you're coming down from that. Would you do it for 9? Probably 8. Probably 7, 6. You know. So money talks at some point. If the family could get set up and it would be amazing, then yeah. But most likely, in most reality, no. I love Hamilton. I love Hamilton. I love our setup. Just everything is easy. The kids are in
what was the question?
Great school. Is Auckland still the place to be?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it is. Like, we come up here for work. Last night was cool. I like the ability. I tell you what, I will say this, and this is real old man chat. That new motorway is so good. If you are
what is ambassadors? I don't know.
If you are out there and you are considering leaving Auckland, but you're worried about not being connected to Auckland, get down to Hamilton because you're up here in an hour 10.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
Hamilton.
I love the ambassador movement, and I feel like every time we go out, and so like last night, people associate us with Hamilton and hopefully the changing face of Hamilton. Like that's such a cool and surreal place to be as like the biggest cheerleaders for your city and getting known for it.
Yeah,
like,
it's good. It's good areas. The barbecue chat. So I don't think Auckland is still the place to be. I think Hamilton is a place to be.
Clearly. Yeah.
I mean, if a chance came up to move to Brisbane, though, I'm gone.
Gisborne.
We're doing the Brisbane-Gisborne thing. I love Brisbane.
Right. We released an episode with Tony Street on Monday, and one of my favourite episodes, I reckon it's... Yeah, there's been a lot of good episodes. I say top 5.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the top 5.
Yeah, I remember as soon as we finished that episode, I was like, that is a goodie. Yeah. That's a good one. And then as different people through our pipeline listened to it and message back going, that was a good one, and then you release it and it's a heater off the first episode tease that we put out. It's a good one.
The most endearing thing I think about Tony is her energy and like the bants is good. She's an amazing storyteller. You sort of like throw her the ball. She keeps it in the air and adds to it. But it's the part about like, I think the thing I like most about it is hearing how she loved working with Mike Hosking because people are too often offended or looking for ways to get upset. And she's like, I love that. You walk into it and you get shit every day. And you know, you just get on with it. Like it's just, you turn it into fun. It's the way you frame it. I thought, shit, that's going to resonate with people. And it did.
Yeah. And like just so many different like I'd completely forgotten about all the sports stuff that she'd done before she got into kind of like just hosting shows and now on the radio. And everybody we spoke to in the research to it as well was like, you're going to have a great time with it. And yeah, she was so good.
The other thing is you kind of get your perception warped based on what you think everyone knows. So like for me, I thought everyone knew the story about Tony's tragedy in her life.
I didn't
3 siblings.
I didn't know that before we did this.
Yeah, and I think that's because I was in this sort of NZ me bubble, you know, like and that's just I thought everyone knew. And so when we talked about it in the episode and we made the decision with Marcus about like what to use for the trailer, he's like, well, I think the most engaging and captivating part is her talking about the loss of her siblings. And I was like, yeah, but hasn't everyone heard about that? And he's like, I'd never heard of it. and someone in his team hadn't heard of it, and you hadn't heard it. I was like, oh, okay. And then we release it, and then just such a outpour of love and support for Tony on the sort of Instagram page and stuff. And that's so cool. It's like breathing new life and appreciation into someone's tragedy. Is that a weird thing to say?
A little bit, but I know what you're saying. I was the same. I kind of thought, when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh man, how's that going to go? How's that going to land? And again, it was, shows what I know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was a bit like that too. Stay in your lane, Steve.
Stay in your lane. Leave it.
It worked really well, and it's on track to be.
I do wonder how the bake sale went though after she left here.
You should check in. She sent us a really nice message as well yesterday, just saying how much incredible feedback she's got.
Yeah,
and, I think we're still going to be best friends.
So, I mean, later that afternoon, after Tony, we recorded the episode which is coming out on Monday, which is Dr. Paul Wood, and that was a very different energy going into it. But I think it was influenced by the Tony Street thing in the morning. Like it was hugely different subject matter for a start. He's a convicted murderer who spent over a decade in prison, and then discovered education, became a doctor of philosophy, and is now using those experiences very differently in the real world. It's a hell of a story. Yeah,
super impressive guy, and such a great, like one of New Zealand's best speakers. Like he does it for a living. He goes up and down the country, and we were aware that he's told his story so many times. Like, how do we get something different out of him? And we did. Like, it was an emotional episode.
Yeah,
and yeah, the real depth to it, and his backstory and what he went through and what he's doing now is unreal. So look out for that one on Monday.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It will be awesome to see that one come to life.
So what are we up to this afternoon? Going to go check out some speakers?
Yeah, Ignite 25. I've got Sir John Key ring fenced to someone that I really want to see speak, but our own Chelsea Lane, B2B Speakers, is in action as well.
Yep.
That'll be awesome.
Sir Wayne Smith talking too. Really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Yeah. Maybe a bit more ABO love in that room. Who knows?
All right. I think that's it for today.
Different hat next week.
See you next time.
Enjoy.